A 4-pack of Speed Pass tickets to explore Carnival of Horrors, Ohio's scariest attraction, for over a decade. 4 haunted attractions for one price. Carnival of Horrors is down there at the Stark County Fairgrounds in Canton. You can go to carnivalofhorrors.com for all the info. A caller 10, you got this 4-pack here. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
The Allan Cox Show.
Sure, you could listen to another show, but then how would you find the puppies we've buried in boxes around the city? 100.7 WMMS.
Part.
Me. It's how they warm up before they sing and stuff.
That's when they started booking operas. They started calling it that.
Yeah, I actually have no idea.
But that's a recent addition.
I lied.
Yes?
I lied that it was for that.
Isn't that a you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel.
I don't know why it's called the Mimi Ohio Theater, but
right.
I feel like it's been the Mimi Ohio Theater for close to 10 years.
Oh, I thought that was a recent addition. Maybe I've just never heard it called by its proper name. Aren't you performing there?
Yes, I'll be there on Saturday I'll be opening for Ryan Hamilton.
Right, Ryan Hamilton, who was on this program yesterday.
That's there's 2 theaters that I haven't performed in at Playhouse Square. I've done every other one. I just haven't done the State and the Connor Palace. One day.
Next week on the show, I will have passes for you for the advanced screening of the film adaptation of Five Nights at Freddy's. We're going to do that on the 25th out at Valley View. If you want to see Nate Bargatze at Playhouse Square, mid-November, I'll have those tickets for you. Alkaline Trio is going to be back at the Agora in March. Tony Hinchcliffe at the Agora in February. And I'll have passes for you if you want to get to 7 Floors of Hell out at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. I got a letter from whom? Alexander. Alan, I was wondering if you could use your platform and do a public service announcement. My girlfriend is a scare actor at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. And we just got out of the hospital after a guest punched her and fractured the orbital bone in her face. That's the one around your eyeballs? Mm-hmm. If your response to being scared is to fight, please don't go to haunted houses. You know, that's why I kind of fell out of the haunted house thing when I was a teenager, is you'd have, like, jagoffs who'd get in there and, like, do the whole pretend to be scared thing. And it was just an excuse to, like, push the actors around. And that gets real old real quick. You know, people who are working at haunted houses, they're doing it for the love of the game. You know, they're not getting rich doing that. And you got to deal with jagoffs all night who are walking through. That's why, you know, the winter months, or this time of year, I should say, it's tough for touring metal bands because you figure 90% of your audience have to be guys who have the night off from the haunted house. So that's how you end up last night at the Moontooth show when I was one of about 50 people. Because there were probably a lot of dudes who had to work at the haunted house. I think there's probably some that are open on a Wednesday. You get this close to Halloween, it's 24/7. You ever gone to a 24/7 haunted house?
No, that sounds miserable.
Oh, you get up at 2 in the morning and you go, I can't sleep, but I want to be scared. Back to sleep. You get up, drive 45 minutes, walk through. You go, all right, drive the 45 back. And by that time, boy, you are tired.
Going to a haunted house tomorrow night. I'm excited for that. Will not punch anybody. I was going to, but then this guy emailed, and I was like, you know what?
This is
no punching this time.
This is the beauty of using our platform for good and not evil. Why are you going to a haunted house?
Because my friend wants to go to a haunted house. So
is your friend a girl?
It's my friend is a girl and her husband.
Oh, all right.
And
wait, you're third wheeling at a haunted house?
And then 2 other friends are going. Like, there's a group of us. It's a group outing.
Okay.
Sometimes friends go out in groups, Alan.
Yeah, don't play me like that. What? There's something going on. No grown man goes with his friends to a haunted house if he doesn't have ulterior motives.
I have no ulterior motives other than to hang out with my friends and have a good time at the haunted house.
Mary, I'm going to need a ruling on this.
I'm with you on this one, Alan.
I'm going to need a ruling on this.
Bill Squire doesn't just go have fun. He's always on the
I'm not saying that.
Hunt.
This sounds like a situation that has an ulterior motive.
That's what I mean.
How so?
You're just always hounding, dude.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. He's a single man.
That's what I mean.
You got to have fun when you can.
Oh,
What's the
Bill.
part of life if you can't have fun all the time?
You're so strong.
I just thought, well, she's going off. She's spinning off in a whole other area here.
My friends wanted to go to a haunted house, and they asked if I was available, and I was, and I was like, yeah, I will tag along
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, going to do that, and then I'm going to a Halloween party after that. So I'm just in the spooky season mood.
Will you be dressed up?
Yes, I will.
Are you?
I'll show you my
comfortable
costume.
telling us what your costume is?
I will show you.
Is it appropriately punny?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Sort of. So I'm going to show you, and then you can kind of put it together. So I got this.
Okay.
And then I got this.
Yep.
All right. And then I got this.
Yeah.
And then wait, hold on. Where's the? And then I got that.
Okay.
You got it?
I think.
The blue jumpsuit.
Yup.
The knife.
Yup.
The black wig.
Yup.
And then the Wayne's World hat.
Yup. Your knife, Wayne. You're
Mike Myers.
All right, yeah, that's good. That's, Mike Myers.
It's stupid, but it's
I like it.
Easy to put together. I don't have to put any makeup on.
Yep.
It's comfortable enough to wear to the party and not have to be like all like. I hate wearing a costume where you can't enjoy the party you're at. So this one works for me.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, people who have these elaborate, big costumes. I just remember that party when I was Batman Zell and Wimbles was Madame Zola or whatever.
Yeah.
She was in the fortune teller booth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love
amazing.
the costume, but it's so cumbersome. Like you cannot be having fun in that.
It's so much work. Well,
she went
that
all
year,
out, but
I was Beast, and so I was all painted blue, and it was miserable.
Oh no.
So I've done some. Beast was a good one. I did the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man one year. That was a good one.
I've seen some pretty elaborate costumes.
Well, listen, I appreciate the effort. It's
Me
just,
too.
I guess I'm thinking of the bulky costumes.
Yeah.
Like the year that I did Burger King Diamond, like I had fun doing that. I painted my own face, whatever. But it's uncomfortable, and it's the people with the bulky costumes, like. You're in awe of them. You're like, oh, that guy came as a full-on Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
You're like, that's great, but he's clunking around like,
This year, I'm wondering about that with Ken and Barbie. If people are going to do like the in the box Barbie
I'm sure they will.
costume.
Yeah,
I only the bulk those kinds of costumes made sense if it was a contest. If there's like $1,000 up for grabs. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Bars used to do that. I feel like that's kind of gone by the wayside, but at least that made sense if you put a lot of work into it because you were hoping you were going to win some money.
I've seen there was a Halloween party I went to in the past, and a guy he made a frame and the blinds or like the wooden blinds for a window. I was like, what the hell is he? He was a Peeping Tom, and he had to carry it around, and he was like changing the windows as he would walk. But I'm like, he has to carry around that window, the shutters, the entire night. Like that's a part of his costume.
So on the one hand, I fully appreciate the commitment.
It's heavy.
But people just want to have a good time. I'm sure I've told the story before, but it was about a year after I got to Pittsburgh. So this is a good 20 years ago. And I was hosting a Halloween party at a bar in the Strip District. And there was $1,000 for the grand prize. And this guy who was sure he was going to win was a dude who had dressed as Vincent D'Onofrio from the movie The Cell.
Nobody knows what that is.
At the time, people.
At the time,
did,
the year the movie was brand new, and he had the rings pierced through his back.
Oh
like if you remember the movie, he had the rings pierced through his back. There was a scene where Vincent D'Onofrio's character was like hanging from the ceiling, but then he had this giant cape.
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, the guy had just had it done. So like a week before it was very like red and he was.
You think he did that for the costume, or he wanted?
He
those
told me
piercings?
he did.
He didn't just want those piercings.
He told me he goes, "There's no way anybody can win. There's no way anybody else can win." I go, "Bro, Your commitment to this is amazing, unparalleled. I go, but this is a crowd applause for, I go, I'm going to pick you, because it was up to me who the 5 people were. I walked through and tapped people on the shoulder. So you have to pick a guy like that, because he put, right? You have to pick the hottest girl in there.
I was going to say, slutty chick.
Yes.
No,
and I told him, I go, bro, she's going to win.
Right.
I said, as soon as
The boobs are out.
she doesn't have to do anything. She was dressed like Janine Lindemoller from the Blink-182 album cover. That was a thing at the time.
Yeah,
too.
it's a
Enema of the
nurse,
State.
yeah.
Slutty nurse. So I go,
Slutty nurse wins.
Every time.
every time. I go, dude, I think maybe that's gone by the wayside too. You got to do a little bit more work than that now. But 20 years ago in a bar, Halloween night, it was like, I go, dude, he was beside himself that he didn't win. I'm like, first of all, nobody told you to do that. I go, because it couldn't have been cheap. Even if you won the $1,000, like what? You're only netting $600?
Right.
So, man, this guy looks suicidal that he didn't win. I go, dude, this is a bar full of drunk college kids.
Right.
They are going to vote the hot chick, right? There's no way around it. Let me give you this money here. It's $1,000, then we'll talk to Sam Morril. $1,000 courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. You got a shot at one of these about 30 past every hour, so listen for these keywords because they come along pretty quickly. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Sam Morril is back in Cleveland 2 weeks from tonight. The Class Act Tour is going to roll into Cleveland. He's going to do the Mimi State Theater, Mimi, Ohio. This Mimi thing is jamming me up.
Just
but it's
Ohio Theater.
Ohio Theater. The Mimi part. Hey, Sam.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, man?
Hello?
Can you
good.
hear me?
How you doing?
I'm good. You hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Are you a guy that ever cared about Halloween?
I don't think so. I have to think about it. I mean, the women dressing trashy is always fun,
Yeah.
but I think it's like kind of X'd out by the drunken shenanigans. Like it has like, as a child, it's great, but as an adult, it has a St. Patrick's Day vibe, which always kind of bugged me.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in the camp that it should kind of be given back to the kids.
Yeah, no, I think the kids deserve it. The problem is it's adults. The people that are into it too much are the same people that have like a birthday week. It's the people who are kind of insufferable. It's the look at me people. So that's a problem. And I also just, certain people, like I think the year it started creeping me out as an adult is when, remember when Heath Ledger died and everyone was that Joker?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are just the goth. This is like the goth kids taking over the city. I hate it. It felt like the actual, like, I don't know, like the apocalypse or something. I hated it.
Well, and all those people would kind of say, well, it's my homage to Heath Ledger, but it's like there's something very, very morbid about that whole vibe.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's always, look, when people use it to like express their sense of humor, that's cool. Like, you know, people rocking the Cosby sweaters, as long as they're not doing blackface, it's fine. But that's the way you can make blackface the second most offensive part of your costume, I guess. But yeah, you gotta really, probably not a good radio joke. Anyway,
It works around here. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm excited to come back to Cleveland though. It's a good comedy city for sure.
Do you still do the White Knight bit?
No, it's funny. In Cleveland, people always are like, "Do White Knight," and I'm just like, dude, that's like 4 specials ago. I have to like forget jokes to make room for new ideas. If I remembered those, I'd be like an '80s comedian who just did blow every night, who toured with the same material, which probably sounds like a more fun existence.
I was going to say, they kind of had it figured out back then.
They did, but now there's like, you know, I got into this job because I was like a screw up. I didn't get into it because I thought I'd have to write a new hour every 12 months. It's
Right.
crazy, you know.
Right.
TikTok. I mean, what helped us has really destroyed us.
You know, it's wild too. If you go way back, I don't know how much of a student of comedy you are, or if you give a rat's ass about the history of it. But it's funny when you go back to like the 60s and the 50s, because like the biggest guys of their day would do like one venue for 6 months, right? These guys would get contracted to do like the Playboy Club in Chicago or whatever, and they would do the same 10 minutes for like a decade. And that was the way you did it.
You know, it makes sense, but it also sounds so creatively unfulfilling. You know, I go to the cellar, and I think the kiss of death is when you see a waitress mouthing a comedian's bit, and you're like, oof, that ain't good. You know, when they know your act that well, it's a shame. And I'm taking my time with this hour for the first time. My turnaround is pretty damn quick usually, but this time the tour was just longer. I finally felt like people were coming out, and I didn't have to rush a special out. But yeah, normally my turnaround was crazy quick. This one's like probably gonna make an 18-month turnaround, which for me is very long.
Well,
and the release might make it almost close to 2 years.
You did like 3 in 3 years, basically, which was so many and so many. And it's not like you write long stories. Like you keep things pretty compact. So for you to write that much material and put that out over the past 3 years is really admirable. And the Netflix special last year was one of my favorites.
It was,
awesome.
so good.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it was that one. I personally like this new hour a lot more. So I was happy with that. But that was a rush special. I mean, that was one where they were like, you know, Netflix wants it, and I was like, how much are they paying? And they told me, and I was like, they'll get 42 minutes. That was my rule.
You had to prorate it. Yeah.
You want an hour, you better pay me more than that. So no, but Netflix was really cool to me, and they were good to work with. But you know, who knows where the next one will end up? It could be Netflix, it could be Amazon, it could even be like Hulu, or it could be back to YouTube. You never know. I mean, the landscape's wide open for comedians, which is pretty great.
It's become post-pandemic. It's become pretty well known to a lot of people on the road now that a lot of people don't know how to be in public anymore. Are you finding that the crowds are easier to contend with in a theater versus the club?
Yeah, Chris Rock once said to me, I was like, hey man, why are they so much better behaved in a theater? And he goes, velvet seats. Which I thought was like the perfect way to summarize it.
They feel like they're in a classy environment.
It's a classier venue.
Yeah.
Exactly. They do guys and dolls here on an off night. You know, it's a classier room. So, yeah, it helps. I also think my crowd is just really good. Like, people see my videos of people shouting stuff out, but that's usually at the end of the show where I say, shout whatever you want out, I'll do a bit on it, or anyone got a problem, I'll help. My crowd's very into jokes. They want to hear the jokes.
Well, and that's the thing that I love about the clips that you post, because, I mean, there's obviously guys doing a lot of crowd work stuff, and it all varies. Some of it's great, and some of it's kind of meh. But what you do is you have people yell out topics, and then you kind of have jokes ready to go on those topics, or sometimes they're off the top of your head. But, again, they're jokes. Like, you have a setup, punchline, joke, and I love that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, those are always my favorite comics, is the ones who didn't really waste words. So I try to not, you know, I know that they paid solid money for this. Not that I'm trying to, you know, it usually goes mostly to Ticketmaster, not me. But they pay a lot of money to see these shows, and I don't want to waste their time. I want it to be a good show.
Sam Morril's Class Act Tour is back in Cleveland. It is 2 weeks from tonight. He is going to be doing the Ohio Theater. And you go to playhousesquare.org for the info on the tickets. His latest hour is on Netflix. It's called Same Time Tomorrow. It is very, very funny. It's very well done. It's awesome. And good luck out there, brother. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. I appreciate your time.
And before you go, can we talk about the Knicks? What do you think they're going to do this year?
Geez, I don't know. They didn't make a lot of changes, but I think we got a lot of really good young players. You just got to lock up quickly. He's awesome, and I know you guys got Strus, which I thought was a great move because that was kind of your weak area.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys made a good signing in Strus. I think the East is pretty much right now, unfortunately, between Boston and Milwaukee, but you never know. I still think the Knicks we have so many assets we could get a superstar. We're in a great place. So
yeah. It's
I think
exciting.
we're like one guy away from a championship. For
Yeah.
real. I love Brunson, and I love Randall too. He gets torn up, but I think he had a bad playoffs last year because he was injured. I think he's a beast. I mean, he's all NBA. For all the hate he gets, it's incredible. I mean, he's a monster. I love him.
Yeah, it was a brutal series as a Cavs fan, but it was nice to just see Knicks and Cavs in the playoffs again and playing meaningful games. And thanks again, man, for calling in.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks, guys.
All right, you got it. There's Sam Morril. 2 weeks from tonight, he'll be at the Ohio Theater. It's the Class Act Tour. Let me break here. If you want to get a text for anything, 35192. You can listen in the iHeartRadio app. You can watch.